What's going on, guys? Cosmic Collector here, and in today's video we'll be unboxing the Grandista Roronoa Zoro Special Edition statue. I recently reviewed the Grandista Special Edition Naruto statue, so check that video out if you haven't already. Even though he's one of my favorite One Piece characters, this is only my second Zoro statue, but I do have the Masterlize Zoro on pre-order, and that should be releasing in the next few months. Popping up on the screen now are some of the figures I have in hand and will be reviewing here on the channel. So if there's a certain video that you would like to see first, just let me know down in the comments and I'll make that video next. And if you're not already, go and subscribe so you don't miss on any of those videos. Here's a quick look at the bottom of the box. And here's the top. Now let's go and jump into the unboxing. Alright, now that we have everything unboxed, let's go and assemble the figure. First, we'll start by attaching the base to his foot. It'll attach to his front foot with the peg. Alright, now that he's able to stand, let's equip the swords. I'll go more in depth during the review, but these swords look incredible. First, we'll start by equipping Enma, and this will go in his right hand on our left side, and it should just slide right in. Next, I think this one's Kitetsu, and it'll go into his other hand. That one does have to be worked in at an angle, but it should slide in through the top. Lastly, we have Wado Ichimonji, and that one has a peg to insert into Zoro's mouth. Alright, now that we have everything fully assembled, let's go and take a closer look. Overall, this is an incredible Zoro statue. I love how much larger Grandista figures are compared to most lines. They nailed the sculpt and design, and they perfectly captured Zoro's muscular build, and I love the dynamic pose. Starting off with his boots, they're really well sculpted, and they're even textured to look like real leather. They included the seam lines or stitching around the soles, really adding to the realism. I love the minimal base stand. It does exactly what it needs to keep the statue standing and doesn't draw your attention away from the statue itself. Zoro's coat looks incredible. The paint and shading is really well done, and we can see the various ripples or creases throughout, as it's billowing backwards from his movements. The wooden buttons on the front are individually sculpted, and we can see that wood texture on each of them, and they also add a nice accent of color. The upper half of the coat is pulled down around his waist, so we can see that top half and the sleeves billowing backwards as well. This complements the design and adds to the dynamism of the statue. And the sleeves and cuffs came out great. We can see his red sash flowing in the same direction, and the paint and shading looks great there as well. Tucked into the sash are Zoro's 3 scabbards, and those look great. Each one has a unique design and is extremely well sculpted. We can see they even included Zoro's green haramaki, or belly wrap, sticking out from underneath his coat. It's barely visible, but I'm glad they included it since it's such an iconic piece of his design. Moving upward, they did an incredible job sculpting Zoro's muscles and anatomy. They nailed the sculpt of his build, and the shading does a great job defining each muscle. Zoro looks absolutely shredded, and his white stance makes him look even more imposing. Each sword handle is really well sculpted, and they nailed all the details. Just like with the scabbards, each one has a unique design and crossguard. The blades also came out great, and they nailed the unique effects on Enma and Kitetsu. And overall, each sword just looks incredible. Lastly, they nailed his face and head sculpt. I love when Zoro puts on his bandana, and they even included some green shading on top to give it a similar effect as in the anime. They did a great job sculpting his hair and earrings, and both the scars on his eye and chest came out great. They perfectly captured Zoro's likeness and nailed his serious or angry expression, and overall just did a great job bringing this character to life. The large size of the statue is both a highlight and a downside. It'll definitely stand out in any collection, but the wide stance does make it harder to display, especially on shelves with more than a few figures. I would just keep that in mind depending on the space you have available, or plan to make room for it. But overall, this is an incredible Zoro statue. I honestly wasn't sure if I was going to keep it due to the potential display issues, but the more I look at it, I'm loving it more and more, so I'll definitely have to make room for it in my collection. Alright, and now for the size of the figure. Zoro is leaning forward, so he stands at around 7.5 inches, or 19 centimeters. The width of the statue from sword to sword is roughly 16.5 inches, or 42 centimeters. For size comparison, here it is next to a Funko Pop, and here it is next to a Funko Out of Box. Here it is next to the Ichibansho Dracule Mihawk, as well as the King of Artists Zoro. Here it is next to the King of Artists Sanji. And here it is next to the Grandista Special Edition Naruto. And lastly, here it is next to the Master Lies X piece, Gear 2 Luffy. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, and let me know down in the comments if you read the One Piece manga, watch the anime, or do both. And since you're still here, go and check out one of the 2 videos popping up on the screen now. The one on the left is a video that YouTube thinks you'll like, and the one on the right is a video that I recommended. And until next time, God bless.